Hey there, everybody. Just want to talk to you all about this Letitia James out there in New York and the whole trucker thing going on out there. Yeah, I drove trucks for close to about 38 years, I think, since 1986 up until 2023 of March. And that was kind of forced out because of my health and other things went wrong with me, you know. But I support them boys, men and women, that are doing that whole thing out there in New York, those truckers. I hope that they continue with it up until New York and that whole Northeast area actually gets a hint. Hey, you know what? Truck drivers are fed up with your bullshit. You know, I didn't like going out there because of the traffic, the attitudes, and all that we would get out there. So, yeah, I didn't go out there. I stopped going out there right around 2000, I'm going to say 7 or 8, somewhere in that area. Maybe later or sooner, who knows. New York was my least favorite place to go. Yeah, pretty much the Northeast. Yeah. Anything up above Ohio and I'm going to say the Carolinas, Tennessee and Carolinas. Yeah, really didn't go. Virginia wasn't too bad, but wasn't fond of it. One of the reasons is the traffic, the attitudes, no parking. The Northeast pretty much is a very non-truck friendly. They want you to get in, get out. And then when that one dude, I guess he was the governor, I think it was Bellagio or somebody, one of them multi-billionaires came out with, oh, well, we're not going to allow people to drink big gulp sodas from 7-Eleven. They got to get the small ones. That's kind of dictated, isn't it? Socialism, dictating, telling people what they can and can't do. Oh, because they're overweight. Yeah, and yeah, nah, it doesn't fall for me. Yeah, can't have a 2-liter soda. Yeah, no, that doesn't fall for me. And then they took away all of our parking. You can't park in most of New York City area. Yeah, you can't go down to the industrial area where nobody really goes other than the truckers and park. It's illegal. Yeah, even though they're out of the way and they're off to the side, they're not near anybody's homes or anything like that. They're in a big industrial area. Can't park there. You get a ticket, you get a fine, a few $100. Yeah, it's the same thing with, there's a state in the Midwest and also out here in the West Coast that's just about as bad. You know, at least they got a little bit more truck stops, and they do have some areas where we can park, but we just can't get near where we got to deliver our loads. Yeah, which I still find pretty screwed up. But I support them truck drivers. I do. And I support Trump. You know, that Letitia James, that's a crazy lady. She really is. She really is crazy. You know, she doesn't care about you people. You know, because now she's saying, you know, all the truck drivers are already refusing to, you know, a lot of truck drivers. I'm not going to say all. A lot of truck drivers are refusing to go in to New York or, you know, anywhere nearby. Yeah, a lot of brokers are refusing to take the loads to deliver or to, you know, give to a truck driver. So there's a lot of them that are refusing to do that are brokers. Even companies. Companies are refusing to go to New York. And a good amount of the people that are refusing to go to New York are actual owner-operators. Well, owner-operators don't work for anybody. They work for themselves. They're independent drivers. A lot of them just own a semi and pull another company's trailer, and a lot of them own the semi and the trailer, and they pull another company's freight, and a lot of them own the semi and everything, the trailer, and just broker out their own loads. They get their own loads. So as a firing them, you can't. I mean, yeah, maybe the big companies. Yeah, you get the big companies out there that do it. But you know what? Even as big as those big companies are, they wouldn't have enough drivers to actually cover the New York area because they got other places to go to. You know, there's 50 other states out there. You know, so New York is not the only one that everybody depends on. New York is just a small little fragment. And yeah, New York loads, they do pay good. I'm not going to doubt that. They do pay good. But like the company that I used to drive for before I had to come off the road, they knew I don't do New York. I don't do the Northeast. I refuse to do it. You go to Virginia, you pull into a rest area, do your 10-hour break. Next thing you know, they're giving you a ticket and making you move the truck so that way you can get another ticket for moving your truck and be in violation at the same time. Because they don't want you to park in the rest area or at the truck stop or in a dirt lot. Out of the way. Yeah. Walmarts don't want us in there anymore, but then that's kind of due to the drivers. You know, leaving garbage and bottles with let's just say things that you really don't want to touch without a glove. Yeah. So that's kind of our fault. You know, and us older drivers will admit to it because these newer drivers, they do it to the truck stops too. And that's why truck stops are starting to charge a lot of money for us to park. But you go out there in New York, you're going to spend a lot of money to park. And the drivers that are delivering into New York, you know, if things get crazy like how it did back in, I think it was 86 when we had that big Teamster strike. If it gets that crazy, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people hurt. And then they're talking, you know, people are saying, oh, well, they'll just bring in the migrants. Well, okay, yeah, you can bring in the migrants, but do they know how to drive a truck? Do they know the United States like most of us do? Do they have the training that you need, the safety training that we have here in the United States compared to a lot of countries? A lot of countries don't have safety training. I would say a mass majority of them don't. They just know how to drive the truck, some of them. And their trucks aren't that big. Not as big as these ones are out here. You go to some truck stops and sometimes you get those big old tour buses pulling in with, you know, full of Germans and, you know, Japanese and other people from other countries, and they walk around the truck stops taking pictures instead of going in there going buying food or something like that. They'd rather walk around and take pictures of the trucks because they're so big. I actually pulled into a market one time. I had to go buy some supplies, and a guy came up and he was like, "Hey, can I take pictures of your truck?" I was like, "Well, why is that?" I think this guy was from like Germany or somewhere out there, Austria or whatever. He had that accent. Like, yeah, sure, go for it. You know, why do you want to take pictures of my truck? He goes, because our trucks aren't as big as yours. You guys have the bigger trucks. Yeah, we got big semis, but none like yours. So, yeah, you get guys like that, that don't know how to do it. And then plus, think of how long it takes to train people in our trucks. An American takes about 2 months of training before they can get their own. Sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, just to get their own truck, be assigned to their own. They're out with the trainer all this time. And that trainer has to teach them all about how to handle that truck, how to back it up, how to maneuver it in certain areas, especially get into those tight areas like New York. New York is the worst to drive in. And it's not fun, I'll tell you that. Some of those areas in New York, you go down there to the market out there, I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, that's not a good place. You go down to the railroad, yeah, that could be pretty tricky. So you get the migrants in there, and then also the migrants aren't really welcomed all that much by a lot of Americans. Yeah, there are a few views that do support them, which I don't know why. It's stupid, but that's you, okay? Not me. That's you. Like I always tell people, I voted for the orange guy that sent out mean tweets. I didn't vote for the idiot that we have now. And you're going to put them people in the semi. Not knowing what they're doing, where they're going, how to do it. And then, back in, this is getting to same subject but different area. Back when Bush was in office, Bush did a thing called the pilot program, which was allowing drivers to come in across the border into the United States. And they were allowed to go, before it used to be 20 to 40 miles. I can't remember exactly how far in they used to be able to go. But I think it was 20 miles, if I remember right. But then they allowed them to come in. They could go anywhere. United States, deliver a load. They could pick up a load as long as it's going back across the border. Well, a lot of them were cheating it out, and they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. The accident ratio went up. I think it was somewhere around 75 to 80% more accidents. And it was supposed to go on for a year. It lasted right close to about 3 months, if I remember right. And they saw the accident ratio go up that much because they were driving trucks that shouldn't be on the road. They were driving like they shouldn't be on the road as well because they didn't know our rules. They were running red lights. I was sitting at a truck stop in Denver, Colorado, the Pilot truck stop one night. And all of a sudden, and that place is really small and really tight. All of a sudden, the whole truck stop was filled with cop cars. And I was sitting up by the scale. I found myself a spot back there up against the scale. The cat scale. And I noticed all these cops is running around the truck stop, helicopters up above us and all that. What the hell's going on here? So they surrounded this one white Freightliner that decided he was going to try to blend in and park at the very end of a row of trucks. And I'm looking at his truck, and he's pretty much right across from me, probably a few trucks over to the side. And I'm looking at that truck, and I'm thinking, man, that truck is a piece of junk. What the hell? Well, it turned out to be a driver from Mexico. And he had stopped at a bar, got drunk, and then went out driving that big semi truck. Well, he was smashing up cars, parked cars and all that other stuff. He hit a few other trucks at another place. And then he pulled a gun out on the security at where he was delivering the load at. And then took off. And the police got into a big chase with him. And he managed to get into a truck stop and try to blend in, but didn't work. I mean, he had the front bumper just hanging down on the ground, and the hood was bashed up, and I mean, his truck was a mess. A big hole in the side of the trailer. And that was during the pilot program. So we're going to allow people like that to come in to try to save New York. Good luck in that one. Yeah, and then plus, I don't think they could bring in enough people on time. As much as New York could say, oh yeah, well, we could bring them in right away. Yeah, that's not a problem. Okay, well, they're used to driving little 5 to 10 ton bobtails and little mini tractors with, maybe a 50-foot trailer or 48-foot trailer. Yeah, but they're in a little mini tractor that's, basically a cab over with a single axle, when most of our trucks now have a hood and they're dual axle, so you got, 5 axles all together out there, and a lot of them countries, they only have 4. And they're smaller. Yeah, so they turn a lot more easier than ours. But see, we adapted to ours. And it takes a while to adapt to it. It's not something you could just say, hey, I'm going to jump in that truck and drive it. I'm going to be a truck driver. Well, it takes a lot more than that. And then you got to learn those roadways. And then you got to learn how to drive in the conditions. Whether it's ice or dry, just windy, rainy. You got to learn how to drive in that. You got to learn how to drive in our traffic. You can't just blow through the lights like how they do out there. And I think it was India. I was watching a movie or a thing on truck drivers on India, I think it was. And also in Europe, where they go through the roundabouts. They just fly right through. No problem. Don't stop. Just go. They don't know how to go, they do know how to adjust the brakes, but they don't have the trucks with the automatic brakes like how we do, the automatic adjusters, which they still go out, and they are different to adjust. Basically the same concept, but just different. Most of the time you have to take it to a truck stop or a mechanic to have them adjusted. And believe me, I've lost my brakes. But luckily I was able to save myself. So yeah, we're going to throw people like that in there that don't know how to do any of that. They don't know how to back up 72 feet when they're so used to 50 to 55 feet. So we're adding another, up to 20 feet more of truck and trailer to them. Yeah, good idea. Oh, Leticia James. Oh, yeah, well, we could do all that. Okay. Just remind me not to be on the road out in New York, that's for sure. I definitely do not want to be out there when those people start driving. Count me out. Drive along the border down there in California and Arizona. Just drive along their border and see how them drivers drive out there. I get nervous when I go down there to San Ysidro or, even that place that a lot of the migrants are going to. I've been there a couple of times down there in Jacumba. That's scary. Jacumba is not a place for a driver, that's for sure. I've been down in Nogales, of course. A lot of you drivers have been to Nogales. Go down there to Laredo. It can get pretty dang interesting. With all them people running around, that are from Africa, driving those big old pieces of junk trucks that are driving around out there. Those 5 tons and 10 ton straight trucks with maybe a trailer. Yeah, let's throw one of them in a 72-foot tractor trailer. No problem. Let's give them a Peterbilt let's get him a Freightliner or Kenworth or whatever. Even though most of those people do like Volvos. I actually, true story, I was sitting at a truck stop out in Guyman, Oklahoma one night. No lie. And it's a small truck stop that had a dirt lot in the far back. And I used to like to park in the dirt lot area because if you got close to the street, there was a grass area with trees, and I'd take my dog out for walks right there. And I took my dog out, and I finished up, having something to eat, and I was just sitting in the front, just chilling out before I go to bed, trying to digest everything and relax a little bit, unwind. Driver next to me had a beautiful Peterbilt, black Peterbilt, flatbedder. And I pulled a reefer, which is very odd to find a reefer and a flatbedder parked next to each other. But anyways, I was there actually before he was, and he backed in next to me. So he kind of knew what he was getting into. He probably just didn't mind. Pull forward enough to where he can't hear my reefer running, or backing up to where he can't hear it, or at least it doesn't bother as much. But the guy pulled in. He had a Volvo. I think he was from India. And saw the guy circle the lot about 2 or 3 times. Finally, he pulls up in front of me. White Volvo, pulling a reefer trailer. He comes up and goes, "Sir, can I ask you for a favor?" I was like, "What's that?" I was thinking maybe he wants me to help him back into a spot, something like that. He goes, "Can you do me a favor and move your truck over there because I'm having problems backing up?" And that flatbedder was sitting there he was doing his logbook, and he had his windows rolled down. And he looked over and he goes, "Driver, you do not move that goddamn truck. You keep your truck right there. I don't want that son of a bitch parking next to me." I was like, "Dude, what do you mean you can't back up? You're having problems backing up." He goes, "Yeah, I have problems backing up. I'm not good at it." Like, "No, I'm already parked, man. I'm not moving. I'm already parked. I'm settled in. I'm about to go to bed right now." He goes, "So you're not going to move your truck?" I go, "No, I'm not." He goes, "Well, it would make it a lot easier for me so that way I don't hit nobody." Like, you know what? If you hit somebody, you better have yourself some good insurance. And I hope you do have yourself a CDL. Because if you don't, there might be a lot of problems for you there, young man. So he ended up just taking off. He got pissed off and he just took off. So yeah, and that one driver that was next to me, that flatbedder, he's all, "Thank you for not moving." He goes, "I'd rather deal with your reefer than to watch that guy try to hit me." I was like, "I'm not moving. It's that simple. I'm already parked." He just wanted that easy spot. And even then, there's no guarantee that he won't hit anybody. Because I've had people hit me in a very easy spot for them to back into. I've had them damage my trucks, rip off mirror fenders, poke holes in my trailer. I've had it happen. And that's what Letitia James wants to happen. Because she keeps up her little thing that she's doing, trying to charge Trump for every day that he doesn't pay, and she wants the money now. All it's going to do is just piss off the truckers and keep us away, make more and more truckers not want to come in. Yeah, there's going to be drivers out there that are going to jump on this, like, all break loose, It's like, oh yeah, they're going to be paying good money. But you know what that means? It's going to cost you folks out in New York more money for whatever you need. Groceries, gas, clothing, you name it. Price just went up. So that's all I really got to say, folks. Just wanted to get that off my chest. But you all have yourself a good, safe day, month, year. If you carry a weapon, Make sure you got it on you. Protect yourself, your family, and your surroundings. Thank you all, and have yourself a good night.